Okay, it was a weekend, and I decided that I wanted to check on how the release was going for an app. I had just released it the previous day, and I wanted to make sure that things were moving fairly smoothly. And you can imagine my surprise and disappointment when I saw that 100% of the users who had the update to the app were crashing. Every time they opened the app would crash. That's an awful feeling. What was going on and why was that happening? So let's back up a little bit. The app that I was working on, I was the sole developer. I was also basically the QA person. I was everything on it. The client had hired me to update and create an app for them that was in parity with their iOS app. And this update, this version that I was releasing, included a lot of bug fixes and really needed to get out there because it was going to improve the user experience quite a bit. And that's very important for users. That's very important for you. Well, I had to include an update to a database file a database library. And it caused the app size to go from like a little bit to pretty big. It was kind of like 10 megabytes up to 20, no, not doubling. It's more like 30. It almost tripled the app size. That's big, that's a lot, and that's not good because we definitely didn't want to do that. So I decided, okay, this library has native libraries in it, and let's shrink it down by cutting down to those native libraries. These libraries are based upon the different chips, the CPUs that each phone has. You can look that up. You can look and read about it in the Android documentation. They're called ABIs. I'm not going to dive into that. That's a whole other video. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments because I'll be able to dive in and talk about it and show it off to you a little bit more. Well, when I decided to split it out and decided to use the the native libraries, that shrunk everything down really well. But there was a problem, and I didn't know it because when I was using and running the debug version and the local version of the app, I didn't see this issue. Instead, I saw it work. Everything worked out great. It was good. It's the common phrase, works on my device, but it didn't. It didn't actually work. So, me thinking that everything's all good, all hunky-dory, I create the release, I sign it, I get sign off from the client, I release it, and we're good to go. And then we're not. What was going on? Well, it turns out that I forgot some ProGuard rules to include some classes. So you see, when you shrink and you minify stuff in Android, it strips out classes and methods that you are not using. Well, sometimes there are classes and methods that are needed to stay in to be able to continue to use the app or to use the library. And ProGuard removed those, and I forgot to add those in. Oh well, it sucked. But here's the good news, and here's some of the really awesome stuff about this. When I went to go and do the release, I was actually a little bit nervous about this release. So what I decided to do and what I chose to do is what's called a staged release. So only a small portion of the users would get the update at a time. I think I started out around 10%, and it hadn't even gotten up to 10% of the users. And what's great with the staged release is I can sit there and say, stop, don't release anymore, don't do any more, don't send this to any more users, I have an update coming. Cool. So I did that immediately, and I knew the issue. I immediately ran to my computer, sat down, built it up, ran it, created the release version and put the release version on my phone, and it ran perfectly fine. I was good to go. And then I immediately went to the Google Play console, and I uploaded the new version of the app, and I ran it and sent it out, and everything started working great. I did have to wait a couple of hours to figure out that that was the case, but it worked out well. And then I informed the client. I told them, hey, this happened. This was what was going on. These are the actions that I took. It's all good to go now. We should be fine. No, I did not wait until the app started getting installed by users to tell the client. I told them right as soon as I hit the new release and new update, and then I started the staged rollout again. So a couple things that we need to take from this. A couple things that I learned from this. One, make sure you read the documentation, because a lot of times these libraries will include ProGuard rules for you to include in your app when you are minifying your app. So make sure you are reading the documentation, because it will tell you what you need to do. Next, that stage release saved my butt, because if I didn't do the stage release and just did 100% of users, then a whole lot more people would be getting the app and it would be crashing on them, and they would be complaining to the client, and I would be on the hook. 3, I took action. I immediately went and I figured out what the problem was ahead of time, made the correction, and then got the app out there to the users. And then 4, I communicated everything to the client. And you know what this did? It made the client trust me even more, because they knew from that point that I am proactive in taking care of them. I'm watching and making sure that their rollout, their app, is doing well in the store, doing well in the wild with users, and I'm taking action to ensure that it is the best quality. And then I'm telling them what I did. I did everything that they would have done. The problem is, if I had asked for permission to do all of this stuff, it may have taken hours, and more people would have received the update, and more people would have complained or started complaining to them and everything. So in this case, it was definitely much better to take action than to wait. But then I communicated everything to them. I communicated everything to the client and told the client, hey, this is what's going on. And they trusted me. And it really solidified my relationship with them. So I hope what you can do, the lessons that you can take from this type of thing is, 1, like I said, make sure you are reading the documentation. 2, stage rollouts are your friends, is your friend. 3, make sure you're taking action to correct an issue as soon as you realize that there is one. And then 4, and communicate, tell everybody what's going on, so that way those who need to know do know. Okay, so that's how I screwed up an app release. Since then, I've taken a lot of precautions with releases. So, not to say that I'm not going to screw it up in the future. Maybe I will. We'll see. But other than that, it ended up working out well. So, if you enjoy my content, if you like it, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to know every time that I post a video. I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday. If you think that this video will help somebody else, please do me a huge favor and share it with them. Otherwise, hit that like button. It really helps the channel out and helps spread this information to more people, and I am able to help more people that way. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.